Did you hear about the 11-year-old who made doctors bow to him? His story shows that one kind act can make a big change in other people's lives. Lang Yoi didn't live as long as most people, but that didn't stop him from doing something that won the hearts of over 1 billion people in his country. This story takes place in Shenzhen, a city in South China's Guangdong province. It's about a young boy who in 2014 made doctors bow to him 3 times after he passed away. This 3-time bow is usually reserved for deities, emperors, or people who did something exceptionally honorable. So, what made the doctors react this way? Lang, the boy in our story, was just like any other child in Shenzhen, his small hometown in China. He was born healthy and lived a normal life without any health issues. He went to school, played with his friends, and did everything that boys his age do. Like his friends, he had a dream. He wanted to become an inventor when he grew up. However, everything changed when a tragedy struck. At the age of 9, he suddenly felt dizzy and told his mother about it. At first, his mother thought it was just a mild fever and gave him over-the-counter medicine, hoping he would get better soon. When Liang came home that day, we thought it was just a minor illness, so I got him drugs from the pharmacy. We all expected that he would be fine by the next day, or after 2 to 3 days. We thought everything was just going to return to normal, but it only worsened rather than get better. Day by day, Liang's illness became scarier. It was nothing like we had ever seen before, so we had to take him to the hospital, she said. At the hospital, the doctors ran several tests on Liang, and when they got the results, they learned that Liang had a tumor in his brain. Imagine how hard it must have been to tell a little boy and his mother that he had a terminal disease, that he wasn't going to be able to play around with his peers as much or go to school regularly due to hospital visits, and that he would have to live with the fear that death was just around the corner. Since everyone knew that only a few survived cancer, Lang and his parents were devastated. The doctor didn't need to spell it out for them to understand the magnitude of the news. Immediately after the results of the test were relayed, his parents broke into tears. They cried their eyes out and grew sick with worry. They didn't want to lose their little baby boy. But Lang was optimistic. He had dreams to achieve, and he couldn't just die without making a difference. He believed if he was determined enough, he would be able to overcome the disease. The little boy took his medications judiciously and attended school when his health allowed it. Lang discarded his dreams of being an inventor and decided that being a doctor who was going to help save lives was a better fit for him. A story he read in school about bone marrow transfusion played a big part in a decision he made later. As the days turned into months and the months became years, Lang's health deteriorated. It became harder and harder for him to go to school. He grew so weak that he had to spend a significant amount of time in the hospital with several tubes attached to him just to keep him going. Lang tried his best to stay optimistic, but he couldn't hide the fact that not being able to go to school made him unhappy. So his family tried to keep him occupied during his stay in the hospital. His siblings rotated their visits, and they got him many books to read. He went through each of them within a few days. His parents were not wealthy, so the cost of his treatment took a huge toll on their finances. Besides the financial trouble, it wasn't easy to watch their loved one go through so much pain. It was a very tough time for the family. His medical team didn't relent in their efforts to keep him alive either. They carried out endless research to ensure his survival, but their efforts proved abortive. Several surgeries were done and a lot of medication was given, but nothing really made a difference. It was a devastating situation. When he turned 11 years old and there was no significant improvement, it became clear to Liang and his parents that his days on Earth were numbered. However, Liang was determined to make a difference even if he might not be alive for long. He had learned so much about his condition from books and had gotten an idea of what to do from a story he read in school. Therefore, he made his decision and went ahead to tell. One day when his mother came to see him in the hospital, he told his mother his dying wish. The wish was for his organs to be donated to the hospital after his death. He said that he wouldn't need them once he died, so it would be better for them to give them to someone who needed them to stay alive. It would be a chance for me to be alive in another way and also help other people. This would be my way of making someone else happy and making the world a better place, he said. In his discussion with his mother, He emphasized how important it was for his wish to be granted. He said, "There are many people doing great things in this world. They're great, and I want to be a great kid too. Even if I might not have much time left, I want to leave a lasting impact. I want this to be my legacy, something that will ensure people don't forget that I was here." It is no mother's prayer to have a reason to discuss her own child's dying wish, but Li Qin could not help but be proud of her son's selfless decision. With tears in her eyes, she agreed to do as he asked, and that made Liang very happy. Liang wanted to achieve something great despite being dealt an unlucky hand by life. He believed that he didn't have to live long to achieve that. He may not have known the magnitude of that decision, but he definitely achieved his wish. In June 2014, after fighting relentlessly, Liang lost his battle with cancer. His parents and siblings were heartbroken. His mother couldn't believe that he was gone, but she knew what to do to keep his memory alive. Before his death, the doctors had been notified of his intention. They were so surprised that someone so young could make such a decision and promised to make sure his wish was granted. In China, organ donations were not common. The deceased were cremated, and people hardly thought to voluntarily donate their organs. It was so hard to get a voluntary blood donor in China. Even though China performed more transplants than any other nation outside of the United States, less than 1% of the population in need of life-saving surgeries ever received them. Although Liang had learned about it in school and probably didn't know the magnitude of his decision, it took a good person to make such a decision. After getting the go-ahead from his mother to extract his organs, the doctors surrounded the 11-year-old, no longer able to help the 5th grader who had someday hoped to be one of them. Then they bowed 3 times in respect, a gesture usually reserved for deities, emperors, and truly honorable people, and Liang certainly deserved it. Moments later, they fulfilled his wishes by successfully extracting his kidneys and liver for a noble cause. Not all heroes wear capes. Some are 11-year-olds with hearts full of kindness. Liang Yoi will forever remain in the hearts of those who received his life-saving organs. Li Qin, his mother, proudly said, "I'm so proud of Liang. Though he only lived for 11 years, it feels like he accomplished so much in such a short time. He won't be forgotten, and his selfless act will live on." Liang was very young, but he taught me and his siblings some invaluable life lessons that we will always carry with us. Acts of selflessness like his should be celebrated, remembered, and constantly discussed. Others should learn from Liang's example and do what they can to make a positive difference in the world. What are your thoughts on this organ donation? Please share in the comments. Thank you.